Hello everyone, welcome. This is a calm and strong class. Let's get right into some movements. Some things maybe that would be helpful to do this class is if you have a couple of yoga blocks. If not, anything that would serve like a yoga block, a couple of books, maybe a couple of small hand towels that could work too, rolled up. Also, if by chance you have a stretchy resistance band at home, that would be super awesome. If not, a yoga strap. If not that, then a necktie could work, or also a belt. Any kind of piece of rope could potentially work for this. And then finally, a blanket, any kind of blanket or towel. We all have that at home. So one of those folded up. And then, of course, a little bit of floor space. This will be primarily a kind of low to the ground based practice. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We'll start, as we often do in Calm and Strong, with something for the hands and feet. So we'll come into tabletop, and then with your hands, spread the fingers, tuck the toes under behind you, and then several times you're just going to rock forward and back. So you get this stretch into your toes, and then that stretch into your wrists. So as you really press the floor away, feel that engagement. And then start to do that where you also start to kind of peel the hands back as you press back. So we're just getting that active flex in the hands. A little bit of engagement through the wrists. Let's do this now, just propping up onto your fingerprints as much as feels comfortable in your hands, working that kind of hand grip, hand strength, and just kind of feel the stability there in your hands as you rock forward and back. Let's come back into tabletop, and then from here, just all the different ways that you can kind of be on your hands, the normal way, the upside down way, your wrists, finger, thumb, just warming up the hands. Good. Let's settle into that. Let's move up the chain from our wrist into our shoulders, shrugging them. Let that be a real nice big shoulder movement. Shoulder blades draw together and apart on your back. Good. And then from that, let's tuck the toes and then just hover your tabletop. So just a little bit lifted off the ground. Or if you need a little less intensity, you can lift higher up off the ground. Either way, you're going to pivot and swivel on the balls of your feet. Find this twisting through the hips and the side body. And as you do this, keep with it or start to add in, floating one hand off the floor and then coming back in. And then other way. So as little or as much of this movement that you want to explore. You can keep the foot on the ground. You could also take your time and go really slow, or see about going a little bit faster. Let's come down into tabletop. We'll move our spine here, a little bit of cat-cow pose. And then from that, we'll rock back. Toes tucked under. You're going to let your knees float off the ground and find your squat. And then from there, you're just going to tap the knees to the floor and then back into your squat. Feel that good stretch and work in your feet, in your ankles. And then from there, let's use our blocks. This is where if you don't have blocks, you could use a couple of small towels rolled up to give you a little bit of lift, and then you'll come up onto your blocks. If you've been in a class with me, we've done this recently. Toes tucked under behind you. You're just going to press back and then find your squat. And then just tapping the knees, come back up into standing. Several times, hands out in front for that counterbalance. And then you need a little bit extra support. Hands could always come into the blocks or to the floor. If this is feeling a little bit familiar to your body, then as you come up, you can start to let the feet leave the ground back there behind you. Notice what you notice. Let's come back through. We'll find our blocks, and then just either side, blocks or books could serve well here. And then from bent knees, just working the legs towards straight. several times. Bend and re-straighten your legs. To some degree, they might not straighten all the way. And then a few more of these. Otherwise, you'll add on to this, and you'll send one leg through, and then back towards standing, and then dropping back in. Notice what's available again, notice what's not. As you come into this, you could start to explore your balance. You could also drop your heel. Let's lower, we'll come all the way down. You can bring your blocks out in front of you. Let's take a down dog, just in between all of that. Reconnect to your breath. Let's come down, and then we'll shift a little bit from the hips just into the shoulders. You'll use a block or a towel or any object you can literally hold in your hand. And then from there, the only instruction is to simply move your shoulder in all the ways while you balance your object. You don't even have to stay in one spot. You can explore your movement. At a certain point, when that shoulder feels warm, you're just going to switch hands. Obviously, make sure we get both sides. See about finding a movement pattern on the second side you didn't have on the first. And then let's bring this back in. We'll hold the block just out in front of us. And then from here, we'll take the block overhead several times. Bend and re-straighten the arms. Keep the elbows pointing high. And then as you bring your block behind your head this time, you're just going to rest your head a little bit into that. Kind of gaze up, elbows draw in. And then a little bit of the counter, so kind of rounding it on purpose. Bow the head, shoulders round. This time take elbows wide, and again, glance up. Let's release that and set your block out to your side. Just downward facing dog in between. Let's come back through to plank and then to tabletop. We'll work back into some hip mobility. From where you're at in tabletop, you'll just step one foot forward and lean in, and then press back like you're doing child's pose. Come forward, other foot. Several of those. See about going fast. Some momentum will get your foot further forward. And then also explore this going slow. Just see the movements that you own, that your leg owns itself. Be okay with wherever it lands. Let's rise. We'll come forward. We'll work back into the shoulders. This time up there in a little bit of our own body weight. So you'll use just one block or one book, and then just kind of come into this uneven tabletop. And then from there, just kind of push through the block so that the free hand gets to leave the ground. Let that movement come from the shoulder that's on the block. And then we'll lower this little dance of just kind of switching your block. Propped up, this kind of uneven tabletop. Drive down through your block and then sink in. It can take a little bit to find if that's a new movement to your body. And then let's come back through. We'll explore this. We'll progress it from plank pose. So from plank, just coming up onto your block and then down. And then other hand. So bearing your own body weight and then working with that as a challenge. You can also explore this with knees down, tabletop. We'll set that aside. Downward facing dog, catch a breath. We'll come forward through to plank and then explore that same hip mobility, just stepping one foot forward to the corner and then back. Same thing, other side. See about going fast. Allow your foot to come as far forward as it wants. And then also exploring it slow. Let's take a moment, come down, have a seat. And then from there, we'll work into a low lunge. Bring your blocks back in. And then from there, we'll just step one foot forward. Use the blocks, push down. See about starting to lift the front heel. Maybe lift your whole foot off the ground, but then just kind of settle back into that. Little twist towards your front leg. Heel open through the shoulders. And then reach beyond. Let's bring this back down. Set the blocks out. Take a moment in between all of that, just downward facing dog. Maybe propped up on the fingertips for some hand strength. And then we'll come through just other foot. Low lunge. Low lunge, pushing down. See about lifting through the front foot. Maybe you lift the whole foot. From low lunge, little twist, heel open to the front leg. We'll release that. Come on back, downward facing dog. Let's make our way through to our seat. Finding just a cross-legged seat. Nothing too crisp or too serious. We're lean back into the hands and then switch the feet several times. Just rocking forward and back. Each time, other foot in front. A little bit, let the momentum carry you. As you lean back, let's plant the feet here. Just reverse tabletop. Open through the chest. Feel the hands drive the floor away. And then let's release this. We'll come back down. Just both pose mostly to kind of circle the feet and the hands. You'll come back through your reverse tabletop. Few breaths there, or the challenge here to lift one foot just a little bit, maybe a little less weight in the other hand, or also hand. Maybe connect the two, driving up through that back hand, and then all the way out. Okay, clear that away. Wrists and ankles. Let's plant the feet, the hands, reverse tabletop. That's plenty. Want it to be plenier. Foot, opposite hand. Explore that, or see about connecting the two. Drive up out of that shoulder. All the way down. Clear that out. From there, a little bit into the hips. Pinwheel pose. Find that kind of zigzag shape with the legs. Hands mostly out of the way, spine really long, and then you'll lean forward, pause, and then press the floor away several times. Rock it. Forward, back. You'll rebound with the front leg. As you come forward this time, just kind of pause. Reaching through crown of head, maybe reaching out through one arm or both arms. And then we'll come on back up. Just kind of lean back. Let's float the legs through center. And then right into the other side, maybe no hands. Okay. Lean forward. Kind of know where we're going with this a few times. Forward and back. Feel, deal. This time as you come forward, just pause there. See what's involved when you reach one arm out. Maybe that's plenty. Reaching the other arm. If that's too much, just bring them one in or both in. And then we'll lean this back. Little counter pose. all the way out. A few times you're just going to float from side to side. See about not using the hands, letting your legs and hips place themselves into position. If you need a little assistance, then just use the hands, lean into them, or let them support the movement. Okay. Let's come on up and out of that. We'll make our way down into the ground. Here's where you'll use your resistance band or your yoga belt or any other type of rope that would work for this situation. You'll come down onto your back body and just putting your resistance band on the bottom of your foot. And then from there, holding your strap close in. So take your leg out to your side and then down and back. And then raising it. So you're going to make these nice big circles with your leg so that you get to move just through all that range of motion. If you're using a yoga belt or a strap or a tie, you're not going to have the give at the band. That's okay. Let's reverse the circle and just go the other way. And then of course we'll bring this in, and then we're just going to switch other foot in. Take your leg out to the side, and then all the way down. And just making as big of a circle as you can draw with your leg. Let's reverse and just go the other way. Take your leg down, and then bring it back in. And then we'll come back in, and then we'll set that aside. Okay, working towards our peak movement for this class. You'll use your blanket or your big folded up towel. And we'll essentially do those teacup drills that we did with the hands for the feet. One of my favorite movements. You'll come onto your back body, and then you'll bring that blanket just onto the bottom of your foot. Your only instruction is to simply move your leg in all the ways you can move, while keeping the blanket balanced, hopefully. So you might start out taking your leg out to your side or across your body, but not limiting yourself to just that. See about rolling over. And then if you've made your way over, see about making your way back. You can go the other way. If you lose the blanket, just start again. Maybe here, drive the floor away, find a reverse, downward facing dog. Using your whole body to just sort this movement out. And at a certain point, just switching feet, maybe with no hands, or maybe using the hands. See what this side is like. If it's more challenging or easier. Rolling over, rolling back. From here, maybe finding shoulder stand. One leg, sneaking both feet into that. Let's start to bring this down all the way into your mat. You can set your blanket aside. And then from there, let's find recline butterfly. Just soles of the feet will come together. We'll let the hands land in our center. Do press down into the feet and just lift your hips. Feel that last bit of efforting and engaging, kind of like bridge pose, and then lower. Take a few moments here, kind of smooth out your breathing. Let everything catch up. You have a few more moments to spare, and finding final rest, a few moments in a Shavasana. Taking your time to make your way up, and then getting on with your day. Thank you.